But now we've seen this is one of the most perceived barriers to EV adoption in India, given its limited availability and long charging time. We have with us Mr. Varun Chaturvedi, founder and CEO of Voltic, one of the leading electric vehicle charging service providers in India. Voltic is currently operating 200 plus EV charge points across India and coming with vast EV charging network to support electric mobility mission of the Indian government. Coming from an electrical background, he is a great admirer of electric vehicles and charging technology. He founded Towards Electric Solutions Private Limited in 2017, which uses Voltic as its registered trademark brand to promote electric vehicle charging infra. He's currently working on expanding Voltic network across all Indian states and also working on overseas expansion of Voltic. We welcome you, sir, on behalf of Team Gyaniki and all the participants.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Thank you for arranging such a nice session. I hope everybody will going to get their question answered because every time lots of question being asked about the charging infrastructure. So definitely we will try to answer those questions and also what Voltic is trying to do because it's a complete ecosystem where we each stakeholder has to perform, starting from EV, OEM, battery suppliers, and the charging infrastructure. Yeah, lots of questions being asked about the charging infrastructure. So happy to be there and answer those queries or questions. And then we will share about Voltic offering. And if you have any question on the Voltic offerings and solutions, I will happy to answer. Fine. So let me introduce Voltic. We started 2017. Most of the people knowing that, government start pushing for electric mobility in 2016-17, and that is where we also started working on electric mobility. Our core business is on the charging infrastructure, and we have all type of charging solutions available with us. Let me share your screen. That will help. Yeah. So I believe my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we are one of the leading infrastructure provider, EV charging infrastructure provider. Currently, we are operating around 200 charge point across India, covering most of the major cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi, Gurgaon, NCR. We have a plan to add more charging stations for this year. We are planning to add 500 more charge points to serve our clients and public domain. Our charging solutions come with hardware, software, and services. If you talk about charging infrastructure, so there are three major components which you can consider. One is the land location, second is the power connectivity from the DISCOM, and then the charging infrastructure component, that is the hardware, software, and services. So Voltic is one point solutions for the hardware, software, and the services. For the locations, definitely we acquired land leasing or some partnerships with the like mall, highway hotels, or anybody. Discoms are facilitating EV charging connection because most of the states, having EV charging. So they are providing a discounted rate. So for that, you have to visit Discoms and get the electricity connection. So that is where we are dependent on Discoms, and most of the Discom is facilitating. Coming to the business segment offering, we normally operate in three ways. One is the commercial charging, same like you can say petrol station right now we are seeing. So it can be installed anywhere. Person can come and charge their EVs. Whatever the amount tariff will be there, they have to pay. It will vary state to state depending on their EV meter tariff, then location and other component. Second is the solution sales side, or you can say capex sale. So that is where we are providing a solution, but owned by our client. Most of these solution is like slow charger because real estate Housing Society, RWS, they are right now looking for a charging solution for their residents. There we are selling out and maintaining the solutions depending on business case to case. But mostly it is the AC slow charger, overnight charging is enough to charge the vehicle. And the EV CMS aggregations, since EV charging infrastructure are this business is a license-free business, so lots of individual, especially the existing petrol pump owners or highway hotels, they are willing to add, a business vertical to their existing portfolio. So they are also looking for the charging station. But same time, it is mandating that all commercial charging stations be connected with the network service provider. And when there is a more than one user, you always required these kind of software solution for monitoring, billing, and tariffing purpose. So that is also we are providing to our clients. Most of you know that there are two type of charger, AC chargers, then DC chargers. We are providing currently all type of chargers as per government norms. AC chargers like Bharat AC, Type 2, DC charger like Bharat DC chargers, then CCS2. Most of the higher end vehicle are using CCS2. We have our own mobile app for public charging to help the user to navigate, search the charging station, then navigate, then booking. Payment gateways are there to make payment, and after making the payment, then we have whatever the amount you select, according to that, charging is going to happen. Then we have a CMS solutions that is called CMS or backend. You can say this is the backbone of any commercial charging services. All the monitoring, billing, tariffing is governed by this backend. Means it is connected through mobile app as well, and sometimes to the hardware charger. So if you talk about commercial charging institution, hardware is just a dispensing medium, and it is universal. Like it is governed by Indian or any government standards, whatever they approve. So all the different business model which is going to evolve through the platform, like public charging station, then fleet charging. In some time, there are lots of new technology R&Ds going on, like vehicle to grid, then renewable integration. Lots of things are happening. So everything is going to govern and efficient operation is from the platform. So that is we have our own platform. We are successfully running from last 1.5 years. Different business model we are pitching through this platform. We have most of our clients are EV fleet clients, but there are categorized B2B clients, B2C clients. So B2B clients where drivers want to access the charger, but they don't want to pay upfront. So monthly reconciliation and billing options are there. Then B2C clients are also right now coming on EVs. So same like Ola, Uber platform. So they want to book a slot. They want to navigate their drivers wherever the slots are available. So these kind of facilitating or API sharing we are doing through from our platforms. So overall, you can say it's a very innovative solution. And in future, there are lots of specifications, lots of features going to add to make this more convenient. Ultimately, charging should be convenient. Otherwise, people will feel like that. Oh, how much time we are means we are struggling to get the charge. Or it is time taking process. So it should be efficient. Solution offering, as I mentioned, we are operating B2B clients, B2C client as well. Most of the time, DC charger sales, AC charger sales, CMS subscription, captive charging, hub charging. Mostly captive and hub charging is for the fleet operator. Currently, the most of the EV adoption is going on across in India is with the commercial segment. And next 4 5 years, commercial segment will be more prone to adopt EVs, looking to their daily runs. They are going to save on fuel bills, maintenance costs. So EVs, are cheaper in running. Right now, upfront cost is high, but with the government incentives like FAME and then state government incentive, EVs are prices are also coming down. But they are not exactly compared to IC engine. It will take time in next 2 3 years with lots of technology involvement, battery prices coming down. So personal segment adoption is slightly low and it is expected to come on a pace by 2023, 2024. But personal segment, beauty of EV is that you can own your own fuel station at your home, like home charging. You need not to go to any public charging station or commercial until unless you are not running more than 200 kilometers same time. So if personal segment have a daily run 20, 30 kilometers. So if they have a facility of home charging or community charging within their house in premises, definitely they will prefer to charge at home on a reasonable rate rather than going to a commercial charging station. So we are catering them at as well in B2C, like home chargers, public charging stations are also available. Right now, the major customers of Voltic is fleet operator, then real estate companies, EV OEMs. We are closely working with the OEMs because the demand or sales are, you know, lots of people have the first question how we are going to charge the EVs. So that is where we are complementing their sales, serving them all type of solutions, whatever they are looking at, a slow charger, home chargers, or fast charger, commercial charging. Right now, we are operating across 25 cities, almost serving 50 clients, 200 charge points. We already installed this year. We are going to add almost 500 in next 5 years. We are targeting around at 12,000 charge point across India, and we already serve 150,000 kilowatts units in last 1.5 year. Most of the time, because of COVID, our charging station they are not operating, but still we have a good numbers of charging stations running. We have a good client base for our fleet operators. As I mentioned, right now major adoption is going across India is through the fleet. So that is where we are serving most of the EVs fleets across India. Mostly these are operating right now at metros because the adoption is going on the metros like Caddy, Aavik, Athena, NG, MK. Lots of companies are there. These companies are operating across the employed transport segment. So we have installed our charging station at these corporate premises in Infosys, Amazon, Capgemini, HP, SCL, Tech, Teleperformance, GSW. So these we are already installed lots of installation in pipeline where we are going to add more charging stations. We have hotel chain discussions going on real estate. We are closely working with OEMs, as I mentioned, Tata Motors, Electra, BYD. And these are some of our installations. Not all, but yeah, few installation we did at different locations. You can see these. So this is a quick brief about Voltic, what we are doing, and what is our solution offering. Definitely, I believe you guys have some questions, so happy to answer that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Varun. And obviously, there is a lot of work that Voltic is done in this ecosystem.
Yeah.
I see it's an ecosystem, and every solution has a different kind of people involved in it. But who owns the capex for these chargers? Who pays for them? And can you give us some insights?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, there are two ways of as a Voltic we are offering in two ways. One is the solution sale or capex sale. So mostly 95% these are AC slow chargers or home chargers for real estate, housing society. So there the capex is owned by these companies because these companies are real estate companies adding these as a now amenities. As I mentioned, now government is mandating, so they are also putting these as a amenity. So as a Voltic, we are not preferring to invest or own the infrastructure in a AC slow charger, home charger, because it's a very slow charging and overnight charging. So that is where the economic viability is not that much good. But when it comes to a commercial charging station, so mostly the operator like Voltic, they own or invest on the capex and then own the infrastructure and maintain. So we maintain the solution, either it is a home charger, either it is a commercial charger, like warranty, MC, service support, we are doing. Only the question is specific what you asked, the who invest on the capex. So home charger or slow charger, normally the client invest, and in the commercial charging station or DC fast charging station, we most of the time we invest and maintain and own the infrastructure. That is our business model. Since it is a license free business, so lots of people now willing to invest on the commercial charging station. So that is where we are also evaluating and providing them a first thing as a complete solution, like hardware, software, and all those things. Then the operation of charging station, like operation, as I mentioned, it is going to happen from platform. It is not a manual charging, it is unmanned charging most of the cases. So there our it is a, you can say, like a franchisee or partners to Voltic. So they will invest, but right now majority of investment is coming on a commercial or fast charging station from the Voltic.
Uh, Also, in the presentation you shared and the list of companies that you are working with, we did not see anything on the discoms. So, any interaction you have had with them, and what are they thinking?
See, Discom is right now thinking of working as a facilitator for the getting the electricity connection. Most of the Discom, except one, two, they are right now in Delhi. They are facilitating for home charging. Also, the recent tenders that BSES are they floated EOI and all those things. But still, Discom challenge is they are heavily overloaded with their existing infrastructure. So they are not willing, whatever my discussion happened, to invest on the developing infrastructure or taking a lead as a operator. So right now their roles are more limited to as a facilitator to charge point operator companies like Voltage to give them a power connection on time within the time frame whatever they are targeting, 14 days or 20 days, and make sure the installation are as per guidelines. So till we are interacting with almost all the discoms. Every discoms are having their own challenges, but they are providing us the whatever the load required, because everywhere the load is going to differ depending on how many machines you are going to install. Somewhere it is 30 kilowatt, somewhere 80 kilowatt, depending on that. So they are right now working as a facilitator, and most of the discom is right now very stressed. So that is where they have their own challenges as well. What we understand, expanding the existing infrastructure to cater. Right now, we have a very less number of charging numbers. But think about when we are targeting 4 lakh charging stations by next 4 years by 2025, and then 3 million by 2030. So what will be the condition of discoms, means the network? So that is where they are working on is strengthening those things. What I believe, whatever I had a discussion happened to them. So my thought process is that they are willing to work as a facilitator. Maybe in coming time, if some discoms like Bescom, they are putting charging infrastructure as well. So some discoms are working as a charge point operator to utilize their capacity, but mostly discom will try to work as a only facilitator. Yeah.
Okay. On the other side, we also see these big names like Tata Power, Adani Power, talking about entering into this ecosystem. So, what role are they playing?
See, Tata Power, definitely they are a big player in EV charging infrastructure. So they are going to add this, or they are already adding a good number of charging stations. So they are working as a charge point operator. Adani Power recently on Mumbai, they floated a tender to facilitate I'm not sure whether you've gone through their tender or UI. They are going to facilitate. They are, putting a tender. If some user or any of their existing user want to put a charging station, so they will impaneled companies like Voltec or whoever is applying for those EY. So they will go and interact with those user and they will act as a facilitator for a smooth transition. So as I mentioned, it is totally dependent on the DISCOM's business perspective. Some DISCOMs like Tata Power to, help Tata Motors to, strengthen their sales and all those things. Same time developing this as a and second business verticals. But right now government discoms are there, so they are just floating tenders or facilitating power connection as well. So entering a big discoms is a good thing, but they have to see how efficiently they can manage the infrastructure. Home charger is something individual or housing societies are going to own most of the cases, but the commercial charging infrastructure, lots of operational challenges are there. Right now, we are operating good number of commercial charging stations, so we know what are the practical challenges. Discussion is something quite easy, but when it comes to execution, scouting for location, getting discom connections, then putting those as per electrical safety, and then the most important, the operational efficiency. So as a Voltec, I am giving you, in the start we are discussing how much percentage utilization. Right now our charging station, mostly it is a dedicated or captive for our fleet clients, but we have a utilization factor of 30%, more than 30% cases in some cases. So getting up to that level and then maintaining is very difficult. So right now few numbers are there, so everybody is saying, okay, we can manage. But when it comes to a large network, so we have to see how the asset can be managed, because it's an asset. It is a heavy equipment and then the software. So both need a balance. So people are trying to, lots of solar companies are also willing to enter in that. But the challenge is that right now is the high capex, low demand, and then the, how it is going to manage. And that is where a balanced approach is going to work out. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, what we have seen is vehicle coming close to the charger. Is there also any movement on portable chargers where the charger is going to the vehicle? And soon we may need, because if the car gets stuck in the middle of the road, then how does it come? Right. So, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that business model is also evolving. Lots of EV OEMs now, they are providing roadside assistance. Suppose any EV got stuck up or out of charge. So some two, three people are working on that. Two, three companies, not people, companies are working. But the challenge remains the same. How much big battery, because it's a portable. So every time it should be connected with a battery. So upfront cost and daily requirement. Right now, these vehicles are means mostly the personal vehicles are there. So numbers are very less. But yeah, this is also going to evolve as a business model. Uh, Let me give you an idea. EV charging itself is having a lots of business model going to evolve. First thing is that you can be a OEM for the hardware. That is one part. You can be a installer. So that is the second business model. You can be a software provider, means software for the aggregation or the backend, whatever monitoring system. You can be a charge point operator, completing these as a ecosystem. The question you asked, emergency support. So that is the beauty of EV charging infrastructure. In this umbrella, we have almost 7, 8 different verticals. But with time, this is going to evolve, and lots of new business model is going to come. Everybody have a chance to get those uh, kind of business to adopt depending on their company's vision and all those things. But yeah, specific to your question, two, three roadside assistance companies working on that, and some R&D is going on, because these solutions need to be efficient. Like they go and get charge only one vehicle, so that is not going to make a sense. how many portable charging station, because these are going to mount on vehicle. So safety is also a critical parameter because it's a movable. So how we are going to ensure that EVs or charging station are safe. So some R&D is going on. Some people are working, and that is going to get that is also a good business model, but not right now because numbers are very less. Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about Varun, you talked about software, and we keep on coming across this word or term which is OCPP, and it seems to be something which increases the price of the charger or the complete ecosystem. So what really is this OCPP, and is it something which is mandatory?
So OCPP is just a protocol for communication. Let me brief how it works. So one is the charge point, your hardware. Charge point, some people say charge point or some people say charger. So this is one charge point. One is the charge server. Server means the backend server. Now, third component is the mobile app for the end user. So how it is going to work? So OCPP protocol like 1.6, 2.0, there is a advanced version right now 2.0, but let's talk about India specific. It is 1.6. So there are certain command to communicate each other, like from charge point to charge server. Some 8 to 10 commands are there, like the first is the boot notification. When the first time the charge point connect to the server, a boot notification is generated so that this charge point will say, boss, I want to connect to your server and please give me authorization. So once that server accept that authorization, so it gives them a command. Then the heartbeat, same like our heartbeat, to ensure that machine is connected to the server. Then there are other parameters like, meter values. When charging starts, what is the ampere, voltage, kilowatt. So this is the charge point to server communication. Now there are certain communication from charge server to charge point, like start charging. When a user comes and he made the payment, then the server will give a command to charge point, boss, I authorize the user. Now start the charging. So it will start the charging, then the whatever the amount calculated on the back end. So it will after that give a command stop the charging. So brain is the server for a commercial charging. Wherever there is a more than one user, means you require monitoring, billing, tariffing. If you are a individual, you don't require these kind of setup because you are the only user. So at that time, charge server will give command to this charge point, and same time it is communicating to the mobile app for the user so that he can also get a sense what is going on. His EVs means what, how much amount it is dispensing, what are the rates and all those things. So it is on the web socketing, making it more secure. There are transactions. So according to that, you have to develop. Every OEM need to comply with that so that it should be uniform. It is not like that you make your own protocol, then your machine is not going to communicate to all the charge point server because ultimately a good number of charging network is going to develop. So that is where OCPP is a crucial role in terms of a commercial charging where lots of things going to evolve, like 2.0 is there, maybe in coming time 2.1, 2.2 is also going to expected, and they have some improved version in terms of safety, in terms of features. Right now 1.6 is there and we are complying with that, and our backend is fully functional on that. So overall OCPP is something how to communicate with the backend and how the complete flow. Without that, you cannot manage the game. Then you have to put a manpower, maybe manual reading he will do from taking from the hardware, then taking the cache and all those things. But making the system efficient, OCPP is important. As I mentioned, hardware is just a dispensing medium. How to, when to dispense, how much dispense, what are the rate, tariffing, every command will go from the backend. So it will always give a command through OCPP protocol. So this is the beauty of OCPP and it is required. Yeah.
Okay. One more thing, there has been some talk about a low-cost charger or low-cost charging, solution for India. So what is that, and where are we in that process?
So low cost charger is mostly whatever the discussion is moving on for the two wheelers, because four wheeler low cost means you are going to reduce the capacity. Okay, so and then you reduce the feature set. Right now, the cost of the chargers is higher depending on the rating, and then the OCPP controller, because that controller cost is also high. So if you are going to, from OCPP to lower cost, like for the two wheelers, now people are evaluating to work on Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and all those things. So that is going to make a sense, but same time we have to see the economic viability. Means we are targeting in 10,000, so 10,000 is fine. But putting that and then the user which we are expecting are the two wheeler, because three wheelers right now they are mostly passenger three wheelers. They cannot afford a very long charging. Okay, so they have to run, suppose after 80, 90 kilometers, they have to either swap, or right now some three wheelers are coming with a fast charging option. So they will go for a fast charging. It all depends on the use case. So these low cost charger is just facilitating to individual two wheeler. Maybe four wheeler can be also charged, but looking to the battery size, big battery size and charging time, I don't feel they can park at any corner of the city, because what government is targeting to put on the each corner is street light and everywhere. So facilitating two wheeler, because their battery size is less and their charging is always slow, so there it makes sense. I believe it is working, but as a voltaic, our target is more prone on the fast charging, commercial charging. So two wheeler charging, we are evaluating these low cost systems, because ultimately then how we are going to derive our communication through our the platform, because our platform is OCPP 1.6 based. These low cost charger don't have such facility. This is our Bluetooth or Wi-Fi enable connectivity. So we are working on that. Recently, some requirement came from some tenders as well. So this is going to work, but yeah, limiting the use case. As I mentioned, mostly it is going to for two wheeler or some three wheeler, but not for buses, cars, and other stuff. They have their own use case. Cars are having their home chargers mostly coming as accessories with the EV OEMs, and they require a fast charging. Two wheeler is something, but same time personal user. If I put a somewhere in commercial domain this slow charger, definitely I will charge something service. So whether he is willing to do that or not, so it depends on those use case. But yeah, something is going on. Lots of work is going on to make people confident. Boss, you will be not out of charge. Only thing, it might be a slow charger or something like that. But government is working and some deployment is going on that. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Mr. Nitin, you can go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Varun. Evening.
Hi Nitin, how are you?
Good, good. I've been really following closely on social internet, and have also had a couple of dialogues with Surendra in the past. So I know you don't know me. That's the case. I have two quick questions, Varun. A is, what is your view? You did mention a very interesting part, business model, the ecosystem about aggregation. So, what's your view on charging aggregation?
Can you repeat last line? What business model? I missed that.
Aggregation. What's your view on charging aggregation?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, EV charging is an umbrella. So there are different vertical. Aggregation is going to be a good business model for where there are scattered demand. Like I give you example how it is going to work. For Voltaic, maybe it is not that much useful, because we develop our own system, we own backend. So definitely we don't prefer. Maybe in future, like roaming is expected to come, EV roaming. So if you have a good network, good client base, we can come and collaborate. But like the individual, since I mentioned in my discussion that it's a license free business, lots of individual will like to add or come in a commercial charging station. So there your aggregation definitely going to make sense. It is not a all companies can reach everywhere. It's a big territory, big challenges are there. So you can approach those kind of people, individuals. Aggregation is something going to work in future when large number of commercial charging station, public charging station will come. People
Mhm.
will like just I give you example this Shekhar which just mentioned low cost charging station. I'm not just saying same, but it is having suppose OCPP and it is installed within your housing societies or street. So these people want some kind of aggregation services, subscription services. So then you can provide them, but same time you have to see the economic viability. That is the crucial question, because aggregation is not it's a simple. We invested good amount of time, money, and all those things. So we have to see how the economic viability is going to work. Initial capex will be high, means you have to invest time and effort and money on development, and then after that very reasonable recurring cost is there for putting manpower, because it's a software. There is nothing required as a hardware. So then your numbers will make it more efficient, but same time the volume is going to work, because ultimately more user will our operator, means individual or public charging station owners will come. Like one more business model which we are thinking, so I'm telling you here, peer to peer charging. So suppose you have a own personal charger, you have a row house or something, you want to offer to others. So at that time this aggregation will work. You simply aggregate that charging station, make it available for anyone, whatever the time selections is there. So that is where the different business model is going to evolve. Subscription or software is the backbone. Either you provide as an aggregator, either I provide as a complete ecosystem. So it depends on the how you are going to pitch on the market, but ultimately that is the requirement. It is very sure.
Right, right. So Varun, just taking it the cue from where you left. So right now, what you are saying is like in another year or so, when, as you said, you are planning to install 500 chargers, similarly other CPOs also. And if a company is able to build that platform where they make these CPOs to be enabled and seamlessly integrate, would then you be interested to be part of this aggregation platform where you can pollinate and use these charging stations, your customer can cross pollinate and vice versa? I think that would be an interesting model to look at. This.
See, nobody can say no to this question. Okay. If somebody is
Okay.
saying no right now, might be there are some hesitation, but ultimately in coming time, this is something, as I mentioned, it is not I can cover all the whole India or something like that. So it all depends on the pickpocket is where right now we are in metros. Somebody comes with the tier two city, tier three cities. So
Hmm.
according to that, it is going to evolve. We definitely look forward as per our business model. If you talk about the Voltec, right now
Right.
might be because of limited number of user and mostly with the fleet and all those things, there is no sense of going integrating and then discussing and all those things. But in future, we know we cannot reach everywhere. So suppose you come as a platform aggregator showing that you have 100 charging station, you want to have facilitation to Voltic.
Yeah.
Definitely, we would like to explore those options. I believe other CPOs will also explore, because ultimately, it's at the end of the day, it's a business for you, for anybody. So it makes sense when you have a good number base. That is the driving factor,
Right.
utilization and number base.
Got it. Another one more question, Varun. Recently, I was in discussion with one of the leading two-wheeler manufacturer in India, and I came across a very interesting way they have set up for their charging. Okay, so what I understood from them, and I don't think so it is enabled in the car. What they said is, let's say their scooters allow so I'm talking about Aether, like that's what I understand, right? And they said that if they endorse that Aether two wheelers to be charged at Aether charging stations, And this was a very interesting thing for me to understand why. It is a standard connector type which can be, if offered by Voltic. I said like Voltic offers a connector type which is compatible with your vehicle, then there is the problem, right? Voltic is into slow chargers, right? So they said no, there is not a problem. That should be fine. But only the connector is not a concern. What they also said is to be such vehicle backend they are enabling so that they know that which vehicle is getting charged within the Ather or outside Ather grid. This is one. And he said, what is the reason for it? Then what I understood is if something goes wrong during charge, who burns the cost for the battery? Okay. So in your case, let's say if Ather vehicle comes and charges and something goes wrong, right? Will you take the owner? Will you take responsibility? Do you have that kind of policy? More like a policy question. Do you have certain policy perspective?
So let me again come to the same thing. It's all driven by business model. Okay. Ather is having a different business model. They have their own network. They have their own vehicle. So they are complementing with this business model. That is where, and their vehicle cost is very high. You know that. So they have to ensure these parameters are monitored. If something goes wrong in a vehicle, what was the issue? Whether it is a charging issue, whether it's a vehicle issue. So you cannot compare what they are pitching in the market, but we are a charging universal charging operator. Anybody can come charge to our charging station, provided they comply with government standard, because we are following the government standard like Bharat ACTC, CCS Tech Demo. Now coming to that policy, as of now, that policy nobody is going to take consideration. If something goes wrong, then it's a matter of root cause. What exactly happened? That is where the OCPP platform gives the exact problem, whether it is a vehicle problem, whether it's a charging station problem, and then it defined by that whose responsibility. In Ather case, ultimately it's the Ather responsibility, because their charger is their own, their vehicle is their own, so definitely they have to take that responsibility. So this model is right now, I cannot say right now, okay, I'm going to take responsibility until unless I don't know what is the exact reason, whether it was, I give you a simple example. Last year, what happened? We just install a new charger, okay? A faulty EV came, some issue was with the EV. Driver came and he tried to forcefully charge the, force the charger to charge. Our rectifier gone. But same time he tried to do at other charger. Again the rectifier. So there are some, inherent safety protection as well available to all the charging station to avoid such kind of situation. But ultimately it's a matter of root cause analysis, what exactly happened, because there are two party involved. You as a EV OEM or owner, I'm as a charging infrastructure provider. So then it is a matter of debate what exactly happened. But if I'm providing EV, like I give you my example, we have hardware, software and services. So hardware to software integration, we take whole responsibility. Either it is integrating or not integrating. You ask one question, aggregation. When you come in that business, you have a 5, 6 or n number of EV hardware, okay, charging hardware. And at that time, when you trying to integrate, definitely you are going to face a problem. So that comes a conflicting. It's the problem of your software or their hardware. So you have to give them a valid reason what is happening, why they are not able to connect to your server. Right now we are facing same challenges. We have a n number of OEM clients coming saying we have installed this charger 2 years back. Please take on your platform. We are spending 1 week not able to connect their hardware to our server because they are not complying. Everybody is saying OCPP we implemented, but they had not implemented properly. Now we are educating them, boss, you have to do this, that, and all. So it's a matter of clarity. If I am taking providing that hardware, so definitely I will take that pain or responsibility to give you a complete integrated solution. So same is the hair case. Right now it is not proven who's going to take responsibility, but it's a matter of something where mutually we have to come to conclusion what exactly happened, whether driver did a mistake, Right now, drivers are putting a charging gun. Sometimes they are forcefully trying to do that, and they are, damaging the gun. So lots of things going to evolve in time. We need not to discuss or compare those things right now. It will take time. Let us mature this market. I think before starting of session, I was mentioning to Shekhar like that. It's a matter of lots of myths. People are saying we want lots of charging station. Whether we really need those number of charging station for a personal user, it's a limited run. Why you are worrying until unless you are not running to highways or cities? But give this a time. Transition is not going to happen in a year or in a day. It is a 4 5 years time when EVs come with those kind of facility where immediately they will give some kind of alarm, whether it's a fault on charger, even charger will give a alarm. So lots of things are going on. It will come to conclusion in next 4 5 years with the advancement in technology.
Got it. Got it.
Mr. Shiv?
Thank you, Shekhar. And
Yeah,
thank
go
you
ahead,
all
please.
for sharing such nice information about politics and what is the trend going on. I have just one or two small queries. First is like, typically 80-90 kilometer run, like in NCR, from any place between Noida, Gurgaon, Sultanabad, Gurgaon, up down it will take around 90 kilometer, let's say. So what is the charging time with the slow charger and DC fast charger?
So, see, it totally depends on your vehicle, which vehicle you are using, and then the charger. Like if I give you example of Nexon, you can compare same way to the other vehicle as well. So Nexon typical range is suppose let's forget about range because you asked about the charging time. So Nexon battery pack is somewhere 32 kilowatt, 31 point something. So suppose it's a 31 kilowatt. So if you are going to charge at a slow charger because their slow charging speed is 3.3 kilowatt. You cannot charge more than that. Either you put 7.4 or 22 kilowatt. It is going to maximum take 3.3. So if you are charging with a 3.3 kilowatt charger, so your charging time is somewhere 8 hours or 9 hours with that slow charger. But same time, if you are going to charge with a fast chargers come with a two categories like 25 or 30 kilowatt and then the 50 kilowatt. So in fast charger also there are limitation on the fast charging, like they are taking maximum up to 22 kilowatt on the fast charging or maximum 25 kilowatt. So if I'm charging with that, so somewhere 1 hour 15 minutes on a full charge. But looking to the your question, you are running 100 kilometer daily, okay? So 100 kilometer, you are exhausting almost 45% of the range. I mean, suppose if a Nexon is having 250 kilometer range, practical range, I'm telling you about. So then you are exhausting somewhere 40% range. So for getting that 40%, you can charge with a slow charger within 5 hours, 4 5 hours with the slow charger, you get that range. With a fast charger, hardly 30 35 minutes, you will get that range. So it is directly proportional to the EV battery pack and your charger capacity which you are charging. But same time, EV itself limit the charging rate to maintain the battery equilibrium, battery life, and lots of there. They, like MG or Kona, they are taking up to 40 45 kilowatt. Means you can go up to 50 kilowatt charger. So their charging is more faster now. More EVs are coming. So all depends on the battery technology within the EV, their BMS demand, and the charger capacity. So accordingly, you have to derive. But ideally, a 7.4 kilowatt slow charger, and if it is a commercial, so commercial people are putting 30 kilowatt CCS or 50 kilowatt CCS. Yeah.
And another one small question is with your experience till now, testing and installations you have done in the fast charger, commercial chargers, DC. What is the mostly installed capacity, and how much is the about around what cost for that setting up such facility?
Again, it all depends on the rating. Suppose we have different rating of charger, like 15 kilowatt, 30 kilowatt. That is on the Bharat AC. India having majorly four types of system. Like on the AC side, Bharat AC type 2. So Bharat AC is mostly for two-wheeler, three-wheeler. Four-wheeler can be also charged. It is not like that, but they have a one thing. Type 2 is for all new variant EVs, cars like Nexon, Corona, MG, ZS, or Volvo, whatever they are going to come to these events. Then on the DC fast charging side, there is a Bharat protocol, Bharat DC 01, and then the CCS. Mostly right now, every vehicle on the CCS means it is a low voltage charging, high voltage charging. I don't want to go in more technical, otherwise it will go longer. So, like if a Bharat DC 15 kilowatt, that is costing almost 2.5 lakh. Same time, if you go for a double gun, same double capacity like 30 kilowatt, it will cost you around 4.5 lakh. When it comes to CCS chargers, CCS vehicle are also costly like MG, Kona, Nexon, 40, Kona almost 25 lakhs, MG is almost less than 20 lakhs. So their chargers are also costly. If you go with a 30 kilowatt, almost costing 5 to 6 lakhs. If you go with a 50 kilowatt, means at a time two vehicle can be charged with double gun or single gun operation, so that will cost you around 10 lakhs. Bus charging goes up to 150 kilowatt, so that's costing around 20 lakhs. So depending on your requirement, your business model, the prices vary for a fast charger in India from 2.5 lakhs to 20 lakhs. For a AC charger, it will somewhere 7.4 kilowatt, that is costing around 60 to 65,000. I'm talking about 7.4 kilowatt. Right now, 22 kilowatt is also coming in the market, so that is where 90 to 1 lakh it is costing.
Okay. Thank you all. Thanks, sir.
So, Mr. Vishal, you want to ask your question? So, Varun, Vishal's question is around battery swapping technology. And should that be preferred in India, given that it will be a lower cost solution? What is your view, and is Voltage working in this area?
Yeah, so battery swapping is a good enough best solution is existing two-wheeler, three-wheeler segment where they don't have fast charging. Okay, and as I mentioned, it is not for personal user because personal user they required a 30-40 kilometer range, so they can charge overnight slow charging a two-wheeler. But when it comes to a commercial requirement, like you have to run more than 150 kilometer, 200 kilometer, and your vehicle range is somewhere 100 kilometer, talking about two-wheeler, three-wheeler. So their battery swapping is something going to make a sense. But the challenge remains all OEM have a different battery packs, different ratings, somewhere dimensions. So uniform battery swap station is something challenging. Some people are working, but it's still not existing. So that is where you have to limit with a one XYZ OEM whose battery pack you are developing according to that battery swap station. Now, as a commercial operator, what is the challenges? I mean, suppose if I have to work, so I have to put at least a spare battery because one battery is on the vehicle, one battery is on my swap station because user comes thinking that every time when I reach to the swap station, I have a charge battery. So that is where the cost economics evolve. Charging as a service, battery as a service as well. Means I have to spend on the battery. So my capex is going on the higher side. So most of these commercial operators, they are asking us to boss, we will take the vehicle without battery so that they can save the cost almost 30-40% down and you come with a battery and all those things. So my challenge increases because I have to maintain the battery, I have to maintain the then again a complex bulk charger also required. So there you have to put a more you can say instrumentation and lots of steps are there. So market is evolving. It will be a best solution when all OEMs come together. And I think last year there is a MOU signed with between 2-3 OEMs making a uniform battery. And then it is having a challenge of infrastructure, a big infrastructure. That is where two-wheeler, three-wheeler is more prone on battery swapping. Commercial operator, I'm telling you. For cars, their battery size is quite big. So again, if you get an order of that 100 or 1,000 cars are coming to battery swap, then you can develop such kind of big infrastructure. But if in a day 1-2 cars are coming, so you cannot spend that much big infrastructure. And also OEMs have a different battery pack. As I mentioned, like now Nexon is having 31, Kona is having 42. So lots of challenges are there. So it is all driven on demand, cost economics. But yeah, two-wheeler, three-wheeler is a good option for battery swap. As a Voltic right now, we are not working, we are evaluating because we have to see the economic risk as well. So we are right now on off-road fast charging. Three-wheeler right now, lots of people are, whatever the feedback we got, they are willing to get a fast charger because they can go anywhere and charge their vehicle at any public charging station or captive charging station. So some OEMs are coming with a fast charging facility. So then it will again limit to some OEMs. Two-wheeler segment, fast charging is not possible because then vehicle cost will go on the hard side. So if some commercial operators are there, they will prefer a battery swapping. So this is the answer to your question.
Okay, thanks, Varun. We'll just take two more questions. Mr. Arpan, can you ask your question?
Yes, thanks, Shekhar. Hi, Varun.
Hi.
So my question for you, it is related to commercial side.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So are there any additional earning opportunities that come with EV charging station? So if I am a stakeholder, what are the additional earning opportunities in infra of EV charging stations? So what is your view on this?
I got your question. So it's a really good question. First thing that you always remember that standalone charging system is not going to work because charging is always going to take time. Suppose say even lowest time is 15 to 20 minutes. So at that time, what the user is going to do, either driver or owner, what he will do. So there is always the opportunities for other business vertical like putting a coffee shop. Either you put a charging station at a mall or you develop a new coffee shop or somewhere snacks restaurant or something like depending on your capacity. But that fact is very clear. Standalone system means you have a highway land and then you say, boss, I want to put up a fast charging station. People will not prefer to come until unless it is an emergency because what they will do for next 15 to 20 minutes. If you develop some
Yes.
kind of amenities there like a small coffee shop as I mentioned or any fast food restaurant, they will spend more time. So it is complementing business nature, putting a charging station a preferable destination at your location where they have some time to spend on a coffee or snacks or something. Other business vertical in coming time is like advertisement, branding, and all those stuff because this is somewhere at least 4 5 car parking area is going to occupied. So you can put up hoarding or branding some kind of stuff. And then some with the innovations coming, lots of other business model like a display type of charging station, so advertisement and all those things. But these are two three quick ideas which you can discuss or try to come stakeholders in that, like highway hotel plazas. There people come to use washrooms, use coffee shops and all those things. If you put a charging station, you will be the most preferred location. So
Yes.
either you develop a complete facility, then also you can add these things, and if it is existing, so put a charging station there so that it make a sense for anyone. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Varun. And I would like to thank Shekhar and whole Ganiki team for arranging such a wonderful, informative session on EV topics. So thanks, Shekhar. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Varun, one last question. See, battery has become synonymous to lithium-ion type of chemistries. There is a lot of work happening in new chemistries, and some of these have very different charging, or some cannot be charged, they need to be swapped. Some can be charged, but their voltage levels are totally different. So do you see that we will end up with a lot of different type of complexities um, as we move along?
Yeah, see, at the end of the day, it's a evolving process. Okay. So definitely options will be explored by lots of mostly from the EV OEM perspective or the battery. Lots of people right now are companies investing on battery because the batteries, motors, these are going to drive the efficiency of the EVs. Like suppose my charger is having, I put a 100 kilowatt charger, but your vehicle is not ready to take 10 kilowatts. So what is the meaning of putting a 100 kilowatt? So that is where the efficiency, operational efficiency is most important factor for the EVs or the for the charging infrastructure as well. So things are right now evolving. Even Europe are here, so lots of people are working, but ultimately winner is who make a cost economics balance. It is not you make a battery pack of right now it is almost $125, but if you make a new battery is having a range of 1,000 kilometer, but pack sizes or cost is going with 500 USD. So that is also not going to adopt. At the end of the day, in India, it's a cost sensitive market. Okay. So EVs prices should come in a reasonable price tag, then people will adopt faster. Otherwise, it will be limited to, like commercial people who's having daily rent. And they will also only adopt right now because they are getting fame, subsidy, and all those things, and they have a daily rent. But at the same time, if their prices will go from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs, they will also not adopt. So ultimately, those batteries are going to survive, are going to make a sense where they same time give a reasonable range. Nobody is expecting, see, 500 kilometer, nobody is expecting, means except few segment. Everybody is taking a balanced approach, cost and the range. If you are getting a, like why Nexon is getting more momentum, you can see because it's in a reasonable price tag and same time 250 kilometer is getting a range, means practical range. So all these balance approach is going to happen. Yeah, battery technology is the backbone. 40% of cost of EVs is battery. So if we can reduce those costs and same time make a good number of increase in range, that is going to make a differentiation. But ultimately, which type of battery and cost economics and their component, everything is driven on lots of factors. So I believe still the clear cut answer cannot be given, but yeah, in coming 2 3 years the major portion will go on those where a balanced approach is there. Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Varun. Thanks a lot. I think we've had a very long session. It's more because your passion in the answer is significant. You're not leaving the question as a side topic. So that is very very nice, and that really helps us also. So thanks a lot for your time this morning, and we obviously wish you and Voltec all the best as the infrastructure evolves. Any parting words from your end?
No, I still someone is raising flag hands, I believe.
Shiv, do you still have a question, Shiv?
I think it's volume, maybe. Anyway,
Yeah.
so see, Shekhar, first thing I always believe in passing correct information because lots of people have lots of doubts. And if we don't have, information sharing, then because it's a transition. So transition always happen when we have a good understanding on the technology and the real use case. As I mentioned, it is not every time we require a good number of fast charging stations. Same time, we have to understand the evolving time scenario next 4 5 years. So I always believe in that people should get answered their question. Even we are getting lots of inquiries at our portal and our phone calls. So we are trying to give them information, sometimes educate them. So these platform are quite interesting, and that is where I love to interact and provide whatever I have understanding on the this ecosystem, especially on the EV charging. Maybe lots of aspect I don't know. So might be there are other experts, they will definitely going to help. But at the end of the day, user should know what they really need or what they really don't need. So then it will give them a better understanding on the technology. Future is electric, there is no doubt. But yeah, it's a matter of time, adoptions, approach, affordability, lots of factors are there. Charging infrastructure is the backbone. So I would like to say that it is not going to happen in a year. It will evolve in time. But same time, your needs can be catered for personal user. Home chargers are best way right now. Lots of corporates are coming, making their facilities EV ready for their employees. They are facilitating their fleets, employee fleet for charging infrastructure, and the operators like us or other Tata Power or any others are there. So they are also same time putting a huge number of efforts to develop a public charging infrastructure. But we have to understand it's a infrastructure. We have a bigger challenge in Indian scenario, getting location, then discom licensing, and then putting the charging infrastructure, then operation. It's a challenging thing. It's not going to happen. We need not to compare us. India should not be compared with the European market or US market. They started long back 2008-9, so they took almost 10 years to reach to 2-3 million target. We are quite aggressive from the government side, state, central government, that within a 2-3 years we are seeing this adoption. When I started, I was not expecting that I make any revenue in 2019 or 20. I was expecting by 2022. But the momentum which suddenly came from the government, from individual, from stakeholder. So things are very positive. But at the end of the day, we have to understand it will take time. So we have to support each stakeholders, understand their challenges, and happy to see that these kind of platforms are evolving. People are getting interacted because it is not possible to interact everybody every day. So these platforms are helping them to understand, and knowledge is the best thing to get the correct information on correct time. And I really appreciate, thank you for inviting me and arranging such sessions. Maybe lots of people, lots of questions not answered, so you can send me on mail. I'll happy to answer definitely. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks everyone for joining us, and hope you got your Saturday's worth. So enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Varun.
Bye bye.
Thank you.